Being on a groundbreaking show in the 70s can positively impact the relationship between production, staff, and actors. However, it can also cause a few issues. Esther Rolle played the maid on Maude, another Norman Lear production, before her character could shine in a new light on Good Times. The role, Florida Evans, became one of fans' favorite TV moms. Yet it's no secret that Esther Rolleeft the series because Jimmie Walker's character, J.J. Evans, became the focal point. After they departed in separate seasons, rumors in the media began swirling around that the actress wasn't fond of Walker. Is that Esther really hated him? And why she quit Good Times? Let's look back at her journey and find out what happened. Early life. Esther Elizabeth Rolle was born in 1920 in the sunny coastal town of Pompano Beach, Florida. She was the 10th of 18 children born to Bahamian immigrants, Sarah and Jonathan Rolle. Growing up, the Rolle family led a simple life, with Jonathan supporting them through his work as a farmer. Despite their modest means, their household was filled with love and creativity. Jonathan had a knack for storytelling, captivating his children with vivid tales and fables each evening. Young Esther was particularly drawn to her father's storytelling, finding herself transported to distant worlds by his lyrical language and theatrical delivery. This early exposure to the world of performance ignited a passion for the arts in Esther. As a child, she stood out for her precocious and imaginative nature, often organizing plays and variety shows with her siblings in their backyard. Although Esther showed promise academically, her true talents lay in the arts. After completing grade school in Pompano Beach's segregated education system, she attended Booker T. Washington High School in Miami. There, she immersed herself in the school's arts program, participating in plays and choral groups. Despite the limited opportunities for young black women in the 1930s, Esther remained determined to pursue her dreams beyond the confines of Florida's Jim Crow South. At the age of 18, she graduated as the salutatorian of her high school class. Esther then spent a year studying at Spelman College in Atlanta, where she was exposed to the vibrant culture of the Harlem Renaissance and the works of influential authors like Langston Hughes and Zora Neale Hurston. Although Esther excelled at Spelman, she felt compelled to venture further north to New York City. With unwavering determination, she made the bold decision to relocate to the bustling metropolis, where she hoped to further develop her talents and pursue a career in the performing arts. This courageous move marked the beginning of Esther's journey from her humbly southern roots to becoming one of the most influential African-American performers of the 20th century. Rise to fame. When Esther Rolle arrived in New York City in the early 1940s, she found herself in a bustling metropolis brimming with opportunities, yet also facing considerable uncertainty. Leaving behind the familiarity and comfort of her family in Florida was undoubtedly a risk, but armed with unwavering determination, Esther was resolute in her ambition to pursue a career as an actress. Despite the challenges, she embraced the city with grit and resolve. To support herself financially, Esther took on long hours at a pocketbook factory while dedicating her evenings to attending acting classes. Despite the exhaustion from her manual labor, she approached each drama lesson with boundless energy and enthusiasm. This relentless dedication would become a defining characteristic of Esther's career. Under the tutelage of pioneering black female director Edna Thomas at the George Washington Carver School in Harlem, Esther's talent was recognized, leading to her securing a scholarship for further training at the New School for Social Research in Greenwich Village. Here, she learned various acting techniques, including method acting, from esteemed teachers such as German director Erwin Piscator. The curriculum emphasized the importance of theater as a vehicle for social commentary, shaping Esther's perspective on the art form. While honing her skills in Manhattan's experimental theaters, Esther also found a sense of belonging within the city's vibrant African-American artistic community. She secured roles in Harlem's theatrical productions, gaining valuable experience as a working actress. A significant breakthrough occurred when she crossed paths with Asadata Dafora, a pioneer of African dance and music on Broadway. Dafora invited Esther to join his groundbreaking troupe, Shaga Oloba, where she immersed herself in traditional West African dance forms while continuing to pursue her acting career. By 1960, Esther's extensive knowledge and experience led to her being appointed as the director of Shaga Oloba by Dafora himself. This leadership role provided her with invaluable experience in managing a professional dance company, further honing the business acumen necessary for her acting career. The 1940s marked a transformative period for Esther in New York City. Through her unwavering drive and commitment to artistic growth, the young girl from Florida evolved into a versatile performer on the cusp of her Broadway debut, Broadway breakthrough. Esther's journey from a rising star to a renowned Broadway performer was marked by her unwavering dedication to her craft, leading to a string of celebrated stage performances that garnered widespread acclaim. Her Broadway debut in 1962 as Felicity in Jean Genet's provocative play The Blacks, a Clown Show, was a pivotal moment in her career. This avant-garde production, which featured a troupe of black actors challenging racism and colonialism in front of a simulated white audience, thrust Esther into the spotlight of important discussions about the power of theater to confront and dismantle oppressive systems. Following her groundbreaking role in The Blacks, Esther continued to push boundaries with her performances in productions like James Baldwin's Blues for Mr. Charlie in 1964. Here, she showcased her remarkable emotional depth, portraying the grieving mother of a black youth murdered by a racist white man in the Deep South. During the 1960s, Esther cemented her status among the elite black dramatic actors with notable performances in productions like Amen Corner, Zulu, The Zeta, and Douglas Turner Ward's powerful satire, Day of Absence. Both audiences and critics alike were captivated by her compelling stage presence and impeccable acting skills. Joining the Negro Ensemble Company in 1967 further solidified her reputation as a serious dramatic actress. This renowned theater group showcased provocative works centered on the African-American experience and nurtured emerging talent such as Roscoe Lee Brown and Garrett Morris. Within this vibrant theater community, Esther earned admiration for her bold artistic choices and fearlessness in tackling challenging themes. Despite the emotional toll of her roles, Esther approached each one meticulously, fully immersing herself in portraying complex characters with authenticity and depth. Her commitment to making a social impact through her performances drove her stage career forward. By 1970, after over a decade of consistently captivating Broadway audiences, Esther stood proudly as one of the leading ladies of the theater world. Breakthrough TV role. In the early 1970s, Esther Rolle found herself at the pinnacle of her theater career, having mesmerized Broadway audiences for more than a decade. However, an unexpected opportunity was on the horizon, one that would catapult her into the spotlight of television. This opportunity came in the form of Maude, a spin-off sitcom from All in the Family, featuring an outspoken liberal lead character portrayed by B. Arthur. When producers were searching for an actress to portray Maude's housekeeper, Florida Evans, they immediately saw Esther Rolle as the perfect fit for the role. At the time, Esther was busy touring with Melvin Van Peebles' musical Don't Play Us Cheap, and initially, she hesitated to audition for Maude, reluctant to shift her focus away from her theater commitments. However, her curiosity ultimately led her to the audition. Upon arriving on set to read for the producers, Esther made her intentions clear from the outset. She was willing to play a maid, but only if the character was written as a fully fleshed-out human being. She refused to portray Florida Evans as a stereotypical domestic servant used solely for comedic purposes. The producers agreed to her terms, and Esther breathed life into the character of Florida with depth, warmth, and dignity, winning over audiences with her nuanced portrayal. Although originally intended as a minor character, Florida quickly stole the hearts of fans, becoming a beloved recurring presence thanks to R's outstanding performance. Spanning nearly 30 episodes over 3 seasons from 1972 to 1974, Esther transformed what could have been a stereotypical maid role into Maude's wise and compassionate confidant, serving as the moral compass amidst the show's zany humor. With her portrayal, she infused Florida with warmth, humor, and a quiet resilience that resonated with audiences. Behind the scenes, Esther drew upon her extensive stage experience to breathe life into the character of Florida Evans. She meticulously studied the script to craft authentic dialogue and mannerisms, offering valuable input on costumes and set design to ensure a realistic portrayal of a working-class black woman. Most importantly, she wasn't afraid to speak up against jokes or storylines that she felt perpetuated offensive stereotypes. Her efforts didn't go unnoticed, and the producers soon came to value her insights, allowing Esther to shape Florida into a more nuanced and dignified character. By the time Maude concluded, Florida Evans had become such an integral part of the show that producers saw the potential for her to lead her own spin-off sitcom. This was a testament to Esther's remarkable talent and dedication. What started as a supporting role meant for a few episodes blossomed into a central character, showcasing Esther's versatility as an actor. In 1974, Esther finally had the chance to showcase her comedic talents when Florida Evans became the matriarch of Good Times, the groundbreaking African-American family sitcom. Throughout its 6-season run, Good Times brought laughter and social commentary into households across America, with Rolle's heartfelt portrayal of Florida serving as the show's emotional core. Good Times, Triumph and Turmoil. Esther Rolle was not only known for her immense talent and beautiful voice, but also for her strong will. When she was cast for her role on Good Times, she made it clear that she wouldn't agree to take the part unless a father was added to the show. Growing up in a large family with a present father, Esther explained to Ebony magazine in 1978, "I had a good father. I wanted the characters to portray a family as mine did back then." This insistence was risky, especially since the show's producer, Norman Lear, was adamant about not having a father in the sitcom. Despite the resistance, Esther approached Lear before production began, asking, "Am I going to have some say about this show? Remember, I've been black the longest." Her persistence paid off, as Good Times became a hit. When Good Times premiered, it quickly became a ratings success. With the show's popularity rising, the character J.J. Evans, played by Jimmie Walker, became a breakout star known for his catchphrase, "Dynamite." While many viewers enjoyed J.J.'s humor, some of his castmates, including Esther Rolle and John Amos, found his on-camera antics less enjoyable. Good Times initially aimed to focus on parenting in a black household, blending humor with serious topics. However, once producers saw how much audiences loved J.J., the show's focus shifted more toward him and his misadventures. Ralph Carter and Bernadette Stanis, who portrayed the Evans children Michael and Thelma, were clearly depicted on divergent paths compared to J.J. in the show. Michael harbored aspirations of becoming a lawyer, while Thelma aimed to pursue a career as a surgeon. On the other hand, J.J., unemployed and aspiring as an artist, provided comedic relief with less substance. However, as the audience's laughter increased, so did the emphasis on J.J.'s character in the show. Esther Rolle and John Amos felt that Jimmie Walker's portrayal of J.J. was steering Good Times away from its foundation of family values. Rolle expressed her concerns, stating, "He's 18, and he doesn't work. He can't read or write. He doesn't think." She emphasized that the show was not intended to depict such negative imagery, especially through the character of the eldest child. Rolle further conveyed her dissatisfaction in a 1975 interview with Ebony magazine, stating, I resent the imagery that says to black kids that you can make it by standing on the corner saying, "Dynamite!" She reiterated that she did not agree to participate in a show that would degrade young black men. Despite her public disapproval, Rolle acknowledged that not all of Walker's humorous moments needed to be eliminated, advocating for a balance between comedy and respectful representation. In an effort to maintain equilibrium, some cast members contributed additional insights to the script. However, disagreements persisted among Amos, Rolle, the writers, and the show's producers, including Norman Lear. Ultimately, these creative differences led to John Amos's departure from the show, with his character not appearing in the subsequent seasons. In the fourth season of the series, James Evans met a tragic end as he pursued better job opportunities in Mississippi, intending to relocate his family. Unfortunately, he was involved in a fatal car accident. The season commenced with Florida, along with family and friends, receiving the heartbreaking news of James's passing. This particular episode is memorable for featuring the iconic "damn, damn, damn" line from Florida Evans, as she finally confronted and accepted her overwhelming grief. As the fourth season progressed, Florida Evans encountered Carl Dixon, an atheist shop owner portrayed by Moses Gunn, who became her new romantic interest. However, Esther Rolle, portraying Florida, was uneasy about Carl's character, feeling that it did not align with who Florida Evans was. She was uncomfortable with the portrayal of Florida moving on from James so swiftly. By the conclusion of the fourth season, Esther Rolle was thoroughly dissatisfied with the direction of the show and ultimately made the decision to depart from Good Times. However, it's widely known that Esther Rolle and John Amos, who portrayed James Evans, decided to leave the series due to the increasing focus on Jimmie Walker's character, J.J. Evans. Following their departures in separate seasons, rumors circulated in the media suggesting that Rolle harbored animosity towards Walker. In a 1978 interview with the Greenville News, Rolle clarified the situation. "I have no personal grievances against Jimmie Walker," she stated. "My grievances are with the character he portrays, JJJ. He's portrayed as an idiot." For those unfamiliar with the show, labeling a character as an idiot might seem harsh, but the portrayal of JJ often veered into exaggerated territory with his phrases, wardrobe, and mannerisms. At times, the series shifted its focus from the Evans family to JJ's outlandish escapades. I take issue with some of the foolishness associated with JJ, but I respect Jimmie Walker as an ambitious young man. However, we are simply not compatible socially, Rolle explained. Prior to this interview, Rolle had spoken with writer Gary Deeb about her decision to leave the series. However, when the article was published, the tone came across as overly critical. Rolle felt that Deeb's commentary on Walker was unfair. "Many readers failed to distinguish between my words and Deeb's commentary. I believe he was excessively harsh on Jimmie. Personally, I could never criticize someone in that manner," Rolle remarked. In the series, Florida Evans becomes engaged to Carl despite his lung cancer diagnosis. At the beginning of the fifth season, it's revealed that she and Carl have married off-screen and relocated to Arizona. With John Amos no longer part of the show, leaving the family without a parental figure, Janet Dubois, who portrayed the neighbor and family friend Willona, stepped into a lead role. She took on the responsibility of checking in on the kids as they were now living alone. However, producers recognized that Good Times was lacking something without Florida and James. So, in Season 5, they introduced Penny Gordon Woods, an abused and abandoned girl portrayed by Janet Jackson. They aimed to bring more of a maternal image through Janet's character, leading to Willona eventually adopting Penny. Despite these efforts, most fans expressed a desire for Esther Rolle and John Amos to return. Despite the changes and production's attempts to retain viewers, ratings continued to decline during Season 5. Before the sixth and final season, Producers acknowledged that Esther Rolle and John Amos may have been correct. Without Florida or James Evans, the show had lost its family-oriented essence, potentially leading to a loss of viewership. Steve Mills, then vice president of CBS programming, stated, "We had lost the essence of the show. Without paternal guidance, the show slipped. Everything told us that. Our mail, our phone calls, our research. We felt we had to go back to the basics." Esther Rolle was then approached to make a comeback to the show. She agreed to return as Florida Evans, but with specific conditions she had previously requested. These conditions included having the character JJ portrayed more respectfully and receiving a higher salary. Additionally, she insisted that there be no further mention of Carl Dixon in the storyline. Upon Florida's return, her neighbor discreetly references her husband, but Florida reacts with a knowing smile, indicating that Carl has lost his battle with cancer. Throughout the rest of the season, there is only one other mention of Carl, and Florida retains her surname Evans, refusing to adopt Dixon. Despite Esther Rolle's comeback and various changes brought about by the departure and return of lead characters, the efforts were insufficient to rescue the show. Unfortunately, the decline had gone too far, leading to the end of Good Times after Season 6. In the series finale, titled The End of the Rainbow, each character finds a happy ending and moves out of the Chicago projects they had called home for the past 5 years. Good Times remains a landmark TV show, remembered for its cultural impact and paving the way for many other outstanding black sitcoms. Esther Rolle's unwavering commitment to her principles as an actress and as a black woman has earned her lasting respect and admiration to this day. Her dramatic range. While Good Times remained unmatched in popularity during its peak, Esther Rolle continued to work steadily in the late 1970s, showcasing her dramatic talents through notable television, film, and stage performances. In 1978, she received an Emmy Award for her supporting role in the television movie Summer of My German Soldier. Her portrayal of a rural housekeeper resonated deeply with viewers, as did her performance as Aunt T in a 1979 adaptation of Maya Angelou's I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings, which earned her another Emmy nomination. Rolle also made guest appearances in dramatic series such as Flamingo Road in 1982 and The Love Boat in 1983 and 1985. Additionally, she returned to her theatrical roots with roles in an NAACP-sponsored production of The Member of the Wedding in 1982 and a 1986 revival of A Raisin in the Sun as Walter Lee's wife, Ruth. In 1989, Rolle's film career gained momentum with her critically acclaimed performance as Adela the housekeeper in the Academy Award-winning film Driving Miss Daisy, alongside Jessica Tandy and Morgan Freeman. Despite her earlier aversion to maid roles, she found a deep connection to the humanity and moral strength of Adela, elevating the supporting character with her profound emotional range and grace. After her success, she appeared in films like My Fellow Americans in 1996 and Rosewood in 1997. Even in her late 70s, she continued to captivate audiences on both the big and small screens, portraying characters filled with wisdom, humor, and resilience. Each role she tackled in the later years of her career solidified her status as one of the most influential and versatile black actresses of her time. By the late 1980s, Esther Rolle had become a pioneering symbol of dignity and resilience through her groundbreaking television roles. Beyond the screen, she devoted herself to advocating for equality and social justice with unwavering moral conviction. Using her platform as a celebrity, she raised awareness about issues affecting African Americans and other marginalized communities. She lent her support to causes related to housing access, education reform, women's rights, voting rights, and anti-poverty efforts. In 1987, her remarkable leadership led to her induction into the NAACP Hall of Fame, joining esteemed figures like Lena Horne and Diana Ross. This recognition underscored her dedication to advancing civil rights both in her performances and through her activism. 3 years later, the NAACP honored Rolle's ongoing contributions by presenting her with the organization's Chairman Civil Rights Leadership Award, making her the first woman to receive this prestigious accolade. Esther Rolle, cause of death. Although Esther Rolle's memory remains vivid in the public consciousness, she passed away years ago. Esther Rolle died in Los Angeles in 1998. Her cause of death was related to her battle with diabetes and undergoing dialysis, as reported by the Associated Press. She passed away in a hospital at the age of 78. According to biography.com, Esther struggled with diabetes, and her health deteriorated in the 1990s. Towards the end of her life, she required kidney dialysis treatment. On December 18, 2019, ABC announced the return of the iconic television programs All in the Family and Good Times for a live performance before a studio audience. Woody Harrelson and Marissa Tomei will portray Archie and Edith Bunker, respectively, while Viola Davis will reprise the role of Florida Evans. When she died, Esther Rolle was remembered as a woman of strong conviction. Norman Lear, the creator of Good Times, shared with the Associated Press that he chose Rolle for the role of Florida Evans because of her commanding presence. "Wherever she was, you knew she was there," he remarked, following her passing. "The woman had strong conviction. We may not have agreed on everything, but that's what happens when you have two creative minds at work." Rolle's impact on the television industry transcends her portrayal of a single character. She actively battled racial discrimination in Hollywood throughout her career. Despite facing stereotypes and occasionally being typecast as a maid, Rolle took pride in the characters she portrayed. As she once stated, "I was proud of the family life I was able to introduce to television." Rolle's funeral took place in her hometown of Pompano Beach, Flaw, as reported by the Los Angeles Times. The service was held at Bethel African Methodist Episcopal Church. She is survived by her brother Isaiah and two sisters, Rosanna Carter and Zilpha Sawyer, according to the Times. In lieu of flowers, donations were requested to be made to the African American chapter of the American Diabetes Association, among other charitable organizations.